Welcome to the Hispanic Wealth Channel, where we help you better understand your money to build your wealth much faster and much safer. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about establishing credit. But first, before we get there, I want to make sure we talk about the reasons why you want to make sure you establish your credit before moving into these things. So number one is getting a lower interest rate. So essentially what lower interest rates do is help you make sure that you look really good to banks. So if you're going into a bank and you want to buy a house or any of these things, the lower interest rates is going to end up saving you hundreds, if not tens of thousands of dollars over the course of your lifetime because you have better credit, which then helps you establish a lower interest rate with the banks. So the banks see you as more of a favorable person to actually lend money to. Number two is buying a house. So if you come to buy a house through a bank or whoever you're going to buy a house through, a mortgage company, if you don't have great established credit, you may not even be able to get the house. And if you can get the house, then your interest rate is going to be much higher because your credit is not that great. So unless you're bringing a lot of cash to the table, you're going to be looking at spending a lot more money, especially over the lifetime of that mortgage loan. So number two is buying a house. Number three is renting a house. So as a landlord and other landlords, we look at credit score as one of the determining factors if we want to rent a house to somebody. The reason why is because that allows us to see, for the most part, that somebody has taken care of the business financially. And so that's one of the benefits of working and having good credit is a landlord is typically going to look at a couple different people, and whoever has a better credit score and job history, but mainly credit score is what we're talking about, that person is who I would choose, and other landlords are most likely going to choose if they have better credit score. Number four is buying a car. So if you don't have great established credit, you're most likely going to end up paying either a higher rate, or you're going to have to be paying in cash in order to get that. So you're not going to get a low rate, interest rate if you have bad credit. So that's one of the benefits of having good credit is if you go buy a car, especially since it's one of the larger purchases that we make for ourselves and for our family, having good credit score will actually lower the interest rate and sometimes bring it down to zero, which means that you're paying less for the car over time, and you're also not having to come out of pocket a lot of cash. Number five is getting a job. So a lot of the times employers, they may not say this, but they will actually look more favorable to the person who has better credit over somebody who does not. So having better credit will allow you to present yourself at the end of the day to an employer and say, hey, here are the things I was able to take care of, which means I'm going to be able to take care of these things in my job. Now, that's not always the case, but whenever you're looking to hire somebody, specifically in the United States anyway, that's one of the things that they look for, even though they don't state that. So number six, this will apply to some of you. If you're planning on starting a business, you want to make sure that you have a good credit score. Because if you go to a bank or wherever you're going to get your money loan from, if you don't have great credit score, they're most likely not, and if you don't have established credit score, they're most likely not going to give you a favorable loan to start your business. Now, if you're going to friends and family, that might be something different and you're getting cash there, but for the most part, when you're starting a business, you're going to be looking to get a loan, a business loan from a bank. So make sure that you have, that's one of the reasons, and one of the benefits of having good credit is because you can start a business and actually get a better loan rate for starting your business. Now that we've gone through several benefits of establishing credit, here are four ways that I think are the best ways to actually do so. So the first way to establish credit is to get a secured credit card. And essentially what a secured credit card is you're depositing money into the bank as a CD. The bank will actually then give you a credit card that is secured up to the amount that you've invested. So let's say it's $500 or $1,000, then you'll get a credit card that will allow you to only spend that amount of money. Now this credit card can be used for regular things like, gas, grocery store, whatever you normally would want to use your credit card for. It's really not meant to be used forever. The whole point of having the secured credit card is so that you can move into an unsecured credit card that's going to be given to you by the bank, because now you've established trust, like, hey, I can make these payments. I'm using this card responsibly, and then at that point they will give you the opportunity to have an unsecured credit card, meaning you won't have as small of a cap as just the money that you've deposited in that particular CD. Okay, so the second way to establish good credit, or credit in general, is to use what they call a credit builder loan. So a credit builder loan, at the end of the day, is simply a loan to yourself held by the bank. So the bank's going to take the money that you give them, let's say $1,000 to $2,000, and they're going to put it either in a savings account or a CD. So that loan, again, is a loan to yourself, and you're going to get the credit for having that, and you're going to pay that off monthly. So every time that you spend money through that credit card or whatever have you, you're actually loaning money to yourself and then paying it off. Now, once it's repaid back to the bank, a couple of things will happen. You then establish better credit, right? And then you also get the interest paid on that as a bonus for yourself. And so the problem with this particular situation is if you're really good with your money and you know what you're trying to do, you're going to be okay. But if you're not, it can be a double-edged sword, meaning that you will then get penalized for the interest that you didn't pay. So if you're not paying on time, you can, at the end of the day, hurt yourself. Now, there are a lot of websites out there. You can go take a look at this. Just look up credit builder loan, maybe even call your own bank. But this is a good way to start building your credit really quickly. And you can jump it up, 40 to 100 points very, very quickly. So go ahead and take a look at that as well as an opportunity to establish your credit. So the third way I'd suggest about building your credit, establishing credit, would be to get a cosigner. Now, there are a lot of people who use cosigners, use family members as cosigners. The problem is you are equally responsible for the debt. So if you are going to go and find a family member to help build your credit, let's say for a car loan or whatever have you, something small, make sure that you are a trustworthy person and you know for a fact that you are going to pay them back. Otherwise, you can, severely damage relationships with your family members. And I'll tell you a quick story. I had a teammate come to me because they were getting ready to propose to their fiance, and they wanted to use me as a cosigner because I had good credit. I said no, not because I didn't like the person, but because they didn't have a financial background of doing things the right way. And I think they understood that I understood that. And so, that relationship wasn't strained because, hey, up front, we were both honest about what was going on and we moved forward. Now, if, let's say, for example, I went ahead and co-signed and he damaged my credit because he didn't make the payments on, that particular ring or whatever he was getting, then at that point, I probably would have, been upset about it. So make sure that that relationship is very strong and that you have the ability to pay back to the person who is helping you establish that credit. Make sure you're making your payments on time. That's all I would say about that, so you don't damage relationships. So the final thing that I would say at looking at for establishing credit is possibly using an authorized user. Essentially what that means is you find somebody with great credit, maybe a family member or something, and then you can piggyback on their credit. So their credit is your credit. They pretty much put your name on one of their credit cards and you get to use that card as basically as them, except with your name. So their limit is your limit. The thing that I would say about this is if you are going to do that or someone's going to do that for you, you're not obligated to actually pay back that debt, right? And so because they're the ones that are actually holding that credit card. So what I would say is if you ask somebody to let you be an authorized user on the card, I would say, hey, look, can you put my name on the card and whatever payments you're making normally, can I get benefits from that? I won't actually need a card. I don't want to have a card in my possession. That might be something that you can look into. That way, again, you're not damaging relationships because maybe something happens, you lose your job and you can't make payments. So that's what I would look at as an option. Probably my number one option, I probably put at number one, is being an authorized user without actually getting the credit card in your possession and allowing somebody else to use that credit card as normal and make their normal payments. It just has your name on it. So again, look into legal parameters for that just to make sure that you're safe, but I know other people are doing that. And it seems to be very beneficial to building credit quite quickly. All right, guys, so there you go. That's how you can establish credit. Do it smart, do it safe, make sure you are working with somebody that you truly trust to build your credit. If you got any value out of this video, make sure that you comment down below, like, and subscribe. There will be several more videos over the course of 2021 and throughout the rest of my life that we're going to be adding and talking about things like how we paid off our house, so forth and so on. But we want to make sure that we're giving back to our community because we've been given so much from our community over our livelihood. So thank you for watching this video, and we'll talk to you guys later. Hey, what's up, John? Yeah, this is Joseph. Hey, wanted to see if I could get you as a cosigner for me. I'm looking to buy a $1 million house. No, it's not going to be like last time. I definitely have a job this time. I can take care of the bill. Won't be any issues. Why a $1 million house? I don't know. It sounds like a good idea. Wait, don't. See you guys later.